It's very interesting because in conventional biology, when I was teaching medical school, we only talked about information in the form of chemistry, hormones, drugs, pharmaceutical agents of some kind, as that's what provides information to the system. So if the system's not working right, you take a drug, and the drug carries signal and information and then changes the operation of the body. So we're very locked into a mechanical, physical biology, and that's conventional allopathic medicine. In recent years, there's the rise of a new kind of medicine. It's called energy medicine. And the significance is that we find now that there's a very sound physical and biological understanding of the role of energy and vibration in medicine. So it's interesting because this is not relatively new. I mean, chiropractic got off the ground in 1895 because D.D. Palmer started to emphasize the nature of vibration and tone as part of the system, talking about when the system's out of alignment, you interfere with the vibration and tone, and so adjustments of the skeletal system would bring it back. That was in 1895. Over the years, more and more information started to come about the nature of vibration and what we call resonance, harmonic resonance. And what was really interesting is, I think it was about 20 years ago, there's a physicist by the name of Maclare, University of London. And he said, okay, look, we're very clear now. Information can be carried by chemistry, and information can be carried by vibration. And his question was, would there be a preference of one form of information over the other? So what he did was an assessment of trying to compare the relative effectiveness of using a chemical for information or vibration. The results were amazing and astounding for this reason. Number one, when we talk about chemistry and we bring a drug into the body, the drug to work has to bind to something, have a chemical reaction. Well, when we go back to our days in high school when we all were playing with chemistry sets, you might remember that when we added chemicals in a test tube and you held onto the test tube got very hot and warm. Well, in the nature of physics, heat is called dissipated energy or wasted energy. So what they started to recognize, and Maclare emphasized very specifically, was this. If I use a chemical to carry a signal, and I say that there's 100% energy of signal in a chemical, and I say then I make a chemical reaction, but then I have to subtract the energy of the reaction. It's a thermochemical reaction. So I said, well, what do you mean subtract the energy? I said, well, the heat that comes off is energy that was being carried but is not being used for information. It's just part of a chemical reaction, heat of reaction. Well, it turns out 98 to 99% of the energy carried in a physical molecule is lost in the form of heat. So if I say, okay, I have a chemical carrying 100% information, it goes into the body, has a chemical reaction to pass that information, then I say 98 to 99% of that energy available for information was wasted as heat. So a chemical reaction carries anywhere from 1% to at most about 2% of the energy is transferred as information, a loss of 98% or more of the energy, okay? He compared that to, what if I send energy via vibrational signatures, sound or electromagnetic field or light? I say, these are vibrational energies. I say, if you're passing a signal with a vibrational energy, how much of that energy is lost in the reaction? Virtually none. So if I say, okay, now I'm going to compare the effectiveness of a chemical signal and an energy signal, and the results are very simple. The chemical signal passes 1% information. The energy signal passes nearly 100% of the information. So the first conclusion was energy is 100 times more efficient in sending an informational signal than our chemical signal. So given the choice of you want to do a chemical reaction or an energy healing, you get 100 times more efficiency from the energy healing. That's right off. So Maclare really concluded, he said, given the option, we must recognize the truth that resonant information, vibrational information, is profoundly more efficient in sending information. And also there's a second character as well. How fast does it take the information to get to from the source to the destination? Well, chemicals have to move through fluid. So let's say I measure how fast does a chemical move in one foot. And if it was really moving fast, I'd say take 1 second for that chemical to move 1 foot. So I say, chemical signal travels at about, at this stage, 1 foot per second. And I say, and what about a vibrational signature like electromagnetic fields or photo light or something like that? That travels at 186,000 miles per hour, or per second, 186,000 miles per second. So I said, well, which is more effective? A chemical going 1 foot in 1 second, or a vibrational signature going 186,000 miles in the very same second? The answer is, oh my gosh, it's profoundly faster. So then you look at the nature of biological systems which depend on signals for their survival. And if your survival is dependent on receiving a signal, interpreting a signal so you can make a response, I say, I could signal you with a chemical, or I could signal you with vibration. And the answer is the biological system would by far have a preference for the vibrational energy because it's so profoundly fast and so significantly efficient that if your life depends on getting a signal, and the cell's life does, then there's no comparison between the two. Chemicals work, but not anywhere as effectively or as efficiently as energy healing. And this is why we're moving from an allopathic chemical drug-related medicine into energy medicine, because it's now been recognized that energy, which includes thought as well, is profoundly more effective in healing than our chemicals. Stress reduction, it's very interesting to understand that if you were looking at a healthy system, let's say on an oscilloscope, it would have this beautiful sine wave, just a smooth, nice wave. And it's got harmony to it, okay? When you look at a stress situation, it gets very choppy, like electrocardiogram or EEG, when you see the wire, the lines jumping up and down like that. And the significance is very clear. Harmony is health. Disharmony breaks down that health because it breaks down the harmony, okay? When you're in sound, and they're nice, pure sounds, you entrain or entangle with the sounds. That's why music, historically, from the ancient Greeks, they already knew music was profoundly important in healing, and that was like, 5,000 or more years ago. And they started to recognize that, well, we now know there's a reason why, and that is because their systems try to entrain with each other. And so if one is out of harmony and one is in harmony, then the significance is when they come together, the tendency is to drive them both toward harmony. That is the natural state of the world, is harmony, okay? So sound, of course, is the element that music was transmitting this harmony to the system, and the system takes it in. And this is why people use music to relax and get into a lower state, which takes away the stress of the system. So just being in a sound shower field, you are going to entangle with that, and you're going to take it in, and the system loves to go toward harmony. It really tries to protect itself, wall off disharmony. But if there's harmony available, the system opens to it because it seeks harmony. So that's one level, okay? Stress reduction is very, very important to understand the nature of music, because it induces a more harmonic vibration throughout the body, and vibration is really the new understanding. And just so people have to know this, because there's been a change. Everything in our medicine world, conventional medicine, is based on Newtonian physics. This is the physics and understanding of the universe that emphasizes the mechanical, material universe and doesn't really give any credit to the invisible realm. And this is why an allopathic medicine is so preoccupied with physical things, because that's the nature of that kind of physics. But in 1925, a new physics was introduced. It didn't get rid of Newtonian physics, that's still there. But the new physics, quantum physics, is a much bigger science. So Newtonian physics is a small compartment in a bigger understanding of the mechanisms of the universe. What quantum physics has brought in is that while we see a physical mechanical world, if you take apart that atom and you say, oh, here's the atom, this is the particle of the physical world, that was, in physics, the fundamental unit. That was always the bottom unit, the atom. As a matter of fact, the word atom from Greek means uncuttable, meaning you can't get smaller than that. Well, in 1895, they started to say, wait, there's something inside the atom. And they started to find electrons and protons and neutrons. That was the beginning. And then they finally said, well, okay, what's inside the electrons and the protons and the neutrons? And that's when the whole world physics went upside down, because they said these particles, electrons and protons, when they went inside, there was nothing physical inside. There were like miniature nano tornadoes, vortices of energy spinning, vibrating. Every atom is a vibrating source of energy. And so while we have the illusion that I can see you, you can see me, I tell the audience, you can't see me in the dark. And the significance, why can I see you? Not because you're physical, but the light bounces off the energy and then is reflected back. I see a reflection of you. It appears to be like you're really physically there. You are there, but you're really there in energy, because every atom is energy. And if an atom is energy and molecules are made from atoms, molecules are energy. And molecules make cells. Cells are got to be energy, and cells make us. And so we're basically energy. And then some people would say, okay, I can understand light bouncing off it, but I can feel you. I can physically feel you. And so there's something there. And then again, I go, no, go back to that nano tornado. I say, if there's a tornado coming down the street and you're driving your car, can you drive your car through a tornado? And the answer is absolutely not. When you hit that tornado, it'd be the same as hitting a stone wall. There's a force. You can't go through that force. And then you say, well, it's physical. I say, well, if you're driving a car and the car flattens out against that tornado, obviously it appears to be physical, but it's an energy force. And then you say, but I can see the tornado. And then I go, that's because the dirt and dust got picked up in the force. If you filter out the dirt and dust, a tornado could be right in front of your face and you never see it at all, unless you tried to put your hand through it, and then you would feel the resistance. Resistance feels like there's something physical, I'm pushing on it. But if you're pushing on a tornado, you're pushing on forces, you're not pushing on anything. So atoms are miniature tornadoes. They vibrate at frequencies. They have a force field, which gives them that character of being physical. They reflect light so I can see them. And lo and behold, the energy universe becomes what we see as the physical universe, except in truth, as quantum physics reveals, it's all energy, it's all vibration. And this is why the emphasis in more recent years is to de-emphasize the physical character and start to say, yeah, but how does energy communicate? Because if you are energy and you want to communicate with energy, how would you do it? And the answer is, with energy itself. Energy communicates with energy. And so vibrational frequencies and sound and light and electromagnetic fields, all these are forms of vibrational energy. That is the language that our atoms respond to, because they themselves are energy. Matter of fact, every atom gives off light and energy, and every atom absorbs light and energy. That's a fundamental law of physics. Now you say, okay, I'm creating a healing frequency, I'm creating a healing sound. And I say, yeah, of course, by the nature of atoms, when they're resonant, when they're in harmony, they will absorb the energy from that. And that's called, in physics term, it's an interference. The energy of the sound you make is interfering with the energy of the body, but there's two kinds of interference. One is called constructive interference, and one is called destructive interference. Constructive interference is what the sound shower produces, is energy that when coupling with the other energy enhances the energy. So two energies can come together, entangle, and become more powerful. But there's a destructive interference, which says two energies can come together and they cancel each other out. So there's no energy at all in the net result when you add it up. And both of them are necessary for healing, because sometimes you want to enhance something, and sometimes you want to bring down the vibration of something. So you use energy interference, which is fundamental to the new physics and fundamental to the new energy medicine. So what in the old days when they couldn't measure it, while they still couldn't measure it, you and I are quite aware, even if they couldn't measure it, the people had experiences with it. But scientists don't accept a person's experience. They say, show me the number on the chart, but now we have technology. Now we have new ways of looking at it. I can read the energy on the chart. We can see this. And this is why energy healing is rising in our civilization, because of its efficiency and effectiveness, and because of its ability to enhance energy.